Today, I want to tell you a story about Segun, the content creator. Segun is a guy who loves to produce social media content for himself. He doesn't do it for the sake of money. He just loves doing it. So put it on all social media platforms. And he was just enjoying his life as a young lad who just came out of the university and hoping to get a job to advance his life. And I want to also introduce you to Madam Beauty, who is the CEO of a beauty shop. Madam Beauty, of course, loves her business, and she's been wondering this social media thing. She likes it, and she was wondering how can she even start it in her business. And then she stumbled on Segun's social media page, and she watched a lot of videos and loved what Segun was doing. She got an idea and decided that she was going to employ Segun. She reached out to him on social media. They had a meeting, and boom, they had a deal. Now, what is the deal? Segun would produce social media content for Madam Beauty so that Madam Beauty followers would grow and Madam Beauty business would grow, leveraging on social media. And then they started working together. But 1 month down the line, they had a problem. Now, before I continue to tell you about this story, let me quickly say this. You would have realized that all the videos on this channel since we started is about emotional intelligence. And today we're introducing something different called performance management. And I'll tell you why. It is because at Pulse Factory, we focus on 2 critical areas of every business that we manage or that we consult for. One of them is the people side of the business, and the other is the performance side of the business. So with emotional intelligence, we are able to help people manage themselves and manage each other, teach people how to relate with each other, have optimism, manage their emotions, and then grow with people. But that's not the only part of the organization that is required to grow. The performance side, task side is also supposed to grow. And with performance management, we're able to help organizations and staff to manage performance. And when you combine great people skill and great performance management skills together, that employee and that organization can only fly. Back to Segun's story. So 1 month down the line, Madam Beauty and Segun started having issues. Madam Beauty started feeling frustrated because she had started paying salary and she couldn't see any change. Sometimes she wonders, what is he even doing? Yes, Segun was putting a lot of content on the page, but it wasn't making sense to her. Sometimes the write-up, in the content is not good enough. Sometimes she's wondering, why did you choose to put this woman's picture when we were doing her hair and not that woman's picture? Everything was not together. So she was complaining on a particular Saturday in her beauty salon, and one of her customers then asked her, what is the expectation of Segun? And Madam Beauty said, he's supposed to produce social media content and help us to grow our business with social media content. And the customer said, what exactly is he supposed to do? Madam Beauty said, he knows what to do now. He's a social media guy. I found him on social media, but he's not doing the same thing for us. We're not growing. And then the customer said, Madam Beauty, I'll introduce you to a performance management consultant. I think that's the problem you have here. You know what you want. Segun is good, but there's something missing that you're not doing. And Madam Beauty said, all this thing that you're saying is for office people. We're into beauty here. And then the customer laughed and said, no, it's not like that. So they agreed, and the customer introduced the performance management consultant to Madam Beauty. And this is the beginning of another chapter in the life of Madam Beauty and Segun, the content creator. When the consultant came and heard their stories, the consultant said, it's not a problem. A lot of beauty salons, a lot of organizations would have the same problem until they put in place a performance management system. Every CEO is expecting employees to achieve certain goal. Every employee are doing their best, working hard to achieve the goal, but there's always something missing. And so this is what the performance management consultant said. We're going to put together a performance management system in your beauty shop. And then Madam Beauty said, why? I don't want that. I don't want all these corporate things. This is a beauty shop. And then the management consultant said something very powerful to Madam Beauty. He said, Madam Beauty, what is not measured cannot be managed. What is not managed cannot grow. And what does not grow will remain stagnant or die. And that was shocking for Madam Beauty. She felt intrigued and said, can you tell me more? And then the performance management consultant said to her, in every setting where performance is required, there has to be a performance management system. And it takes only 3 steps to achieve it. And I'm going to help you and Segun put it together. And he said the 3 steps are going to be the performance planning, the performance monitoring, and the performance measurement. As he was saying all of this, Madam Beauty started getting interested because she realized that if this thing can work, then she can do the same with her barbers, she can do the same thing with her stylists, and maybe the business would begin to grow if everybody is beginning to perform. So, on the promise of Madam Beauty, realizing that there are steps to this, she was ready to deal with the performance management consultant. And of course, he got to work. The first thing he did was to plan the performance, which is performance planning. He sat Madam Beauty and Segun on the table and then asked Madam Beauty some very critical questions. The first one is, Madam Beauty, what do you expect from Segun? And Madam Beauty said, what Segun has always done. The reason why I brought him in is because he knows how to produce content. He should produce content for my beauty shop and let us grow on social media and let us grow our business. And the performance management consultant said, no, that is not enough. Madam Beauty, what do you want clearly? What are your clear expectations from Segun? Madam Beauty said again, yes, that's what I expect him to do. And then the performance management consultant said, how many social media content do you want? What is the quality of the social media content? You know, what kind of videos should he create? What kind of post should he do? I mean, what exactly do you want? So Madam Beauty realized that she had never told Segun things like that. All she had said to Segun was perform, just create social media content. So they decided to plan Segun's performance. So Madam Beauty decided with Segun that Segun would produce 1-minute video every day of the week that would go on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Number 2, they decided that all of this content must get on the social media page by 9 a.m. every day. Part of what they decided is that Segun would have submitted the night before, would have submitted what he wants to write in the social media content to Madam Beauty, and Madam Beauty will approve it first thing in the morning so that Segun can upload and write the content there. And so they took all of this decision. They also added that Segun would produce 1 10-minute video of everything that has happened in the beauty shop throughout the week, and that must go on YouTube every Sunday. Now, beyond this, they also decided what the quality of the video would be. They wrote down some things that are not acceptable for the videos, and they wrote down some things that are important for the videos. They wrote this down on a paper, and Madam Beauty was excited that she's clear about what Segun is supposed to be doing. And guess what? Segun was also excited. Before now, Segun wakes up every day and without any plan, he posts whatever comes to his mind. But now, his performance has been planned. And Madam Beauty started to realize, if I can do this with Segun, then I can do it with the stylist, I can do it with the barbers, I can do it with everybody in the organization. But they focused on Segun first to get it right and see how it will work. That was performance planning in process. Everybody that works in your organization must have what Segun has now, a clear set of key performance indicators that would determine if Segun is performing or not. Now Madam Beauty would be able to identify whether Segun is performing or not, because Segun's expectations are very clear. It's not just clear for Madam Beauty, it's also clear for Segun. But that's just the first part. And then the consultant said, Madam Beauty, we have to talk about the second part. And Madam Beauty said, yes, tell me about the second part. He said the second part is performance monitoring. And then Madam Beauty asked, what would I do for performance monitoring? You don't just set performance for your staff. You also have to create a monitoring system. They decided in this case that Madam Beauty would go to the social media page and just watch the videos once in a day. Whether it's in the evening or in the afternoon, it doesn't matter. That's a sense of monitoring. They also decided that Segun would submit a weekly report of what he has done for the week to Madam Beauty. That's also a sense of monitoring. So they had two stages of monitoring. One is observation, Madam Beauty going to check online and see what is happening there. And the other one is monitoring by report, which is Segun will be submitting weekly reports to Madam Beauty, and Madam Beauty would study it and be sure that everything is aligning. And the third one for Madam Beauty was that although Madam Beauty can be busy all through the day, Madam Beauty delegated one person in the shop to ensure that that person checks the social media page by 12 o'clock every day to answer questions, but more importantly, to be sure that Segun has posted. That is performance monitoring. Madam Beauty liked the idea too, because she realized that before now, she just goes on social media page with no goal in mind. Now, there is a monitoring system, and that's also important so that Segun will not just post whatever they like and there will be no corrective action. With the monitoring process, Madam Beauty would see things that ought to be corrected and quickly correct it rather than leaving it there for the entire week. And so for you to your organization, just like Madam Beauty now has a monitoring system, you also need a performance monitoring system in your organization if you want your employees to grow. And then the performance management consultant said there's one more step, which is a performance measurement. A lot of people call it performance appraisal. And then Madam Beauty said, what am I going to do about that? And then they decided that once every month, Madam Beauty will sit down with Segun to run performance measurement. What does that mean? Madam Beauty would look at all Segun has done in the month and compare it with what Segun ought to do in the month, which is comparing the actual with what is expected. And at the end of the month, they will be able to measure Segun's performance. And so what would happen at the end of the month is that we would look, Segun is supposed to provide 30 videos every month, and they would look at it. How many videos did Segun provide and post in the course of the month? If it is 30, it means that Segun got 100% of that particular KPI. And then they would look at the quality of the videos. Did it meet the expectation? If it is yes, it means that Segun would also score certain percentage of that particular KPI. And at the end of the day, with the YouTube expectations, with the write-up and everything, Segun would be able to know at the end of the month that, I'm operating at 70% performance. I'm operating at 50% performance. With that, Segun will be able to identify what he needs to do better. And month on month, with this process, Segun's performance started getting better. After the second month, during the performance management chart, Segun realized that he always makes an error with the dot. Every time he's writing letter I, he would write letter I in small letter in the middle of a sentence. Segun learned that in the second month. During their charts in the third month, Madam Beauty made Segun realize that there was a particular part of the office that shouldn't be shown on social media. And Segun realized and stopped showing it on social media. They continued all of these charts, and then Segun's performance started to grow. Segun's performance started to grow. And then Madam Beauty realized the statement that the consultant said at the beginning of their relationship, when he said, the performance of an employee is not the responsibility of the employee, but the responsibility of the superior and the system, which is something that was said by Peter Drucker, a management guru. Now she realized that Segun's performance is her responsibility. How did she realize that? She realized that Segun's performance needs to be set. Segun's performance needs to be monitored and measured. She has the responsibility to ensure that all of these are in place and continuously measure Segun so that Segun will realize corrective actions that must be put in place, his weakness, his strength, where he needs to grow and what he's doing well, and continue to do them well. It's called feedback. And with this, their relationship got better. Nobody needs to tell you that Madam Beauty then replicated this system for her barbers, for her stylists, and the business started to grow. I meet a lot of CEOs who say, Enahoro, they're just working. A lot of people in the office, they're just going and coming. Everybody's seeming busy. I don't know what they're doing. At the end of the month, I pay salaries. And I say to them, the reason you're complaining is because you don't have a performance management system in place. If you know what everybody's supposed to be doing, and it is clearly written with clear KPIs, you won't be saying, I don't know what they're doing. Do you have a performance management system in your organization? Don't think that performance management is anything technical. It's a simple process that everybody can use in life. A madam can use a performance management system with a housemaid, right? A superior in the office can use performance management system with a follower. A superior can use performance management system with his driver. Yeah, the person that drives you every day can have KPIs for their performance to be managed. The most important goal of performance management is actually to help the employee to grow. So you need a performance management system in your organization. It is not anything big that cannot be deployed. It's just 3 stages. Plan the performance, monitor the performance, and measure the performance. And then you begin to grow, because what is not measured cannot be managed. What is not managed cannot grow. And what does not grow will remain stagnant or die. Do you have a performance management system in your organization? Let us know by putting a comment below. Or would you like to have one in your organization? Also put it in the comment, or send a mail to the email you're seeing on the screen right now. Who would help you put a performance management system together? We don't have to be there. You can also do it yourself. So after watching this video, gather your people together as a superior, or as a human resource person, or as an admin person, or somebody who is interested in the growth of the performance of the employees in the organization, and say to them, I just watched the video. I want us to put a performance management system together in our organization, and just follow the steps that the performance management consultant deployed for Madam Beauty and Segun, and then see performance grow in your organization.